And you can count on the Colonel, Karl Truman, our personal injury lawyer. So glad to have you in the studio this morning.
Great to be back as always.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The first thing we should say is that Karl has a new phone number. Now, this is not the number to call for studio questions today. We'll give you that as well. But the new number is so catchy. 222-2222.
That's right.
Should we dance to it? Should we have the ballroom dancers dance to it? 222-2222.
Super easy.
That's right.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to, you know, everybody knows the name of my firm, but now it's an easy to remember phone number. So 222-2222.
Fantastic. If you have call-in questions today, however, call us at 276-2118. We are standing by ready to take your legal questions about personal injury law.
Last week we were talking about getting hit from behind in a car.
Yes.
And complications that can go along with that. I have a question. If you it just came to me the other day. If you're sitting in a car and you have a manual transmission, and you're in neutral, and you know when you're on a hill, you can go back a little bit and then go up sometimes. If you hit the car behind you, is that the person who went backwards fault, or is that the person behind you fault? Because you should be a certain distance away.
Sounds like a personal problem to me,
This
Karl.
did not happen to me, but I went back a little bit, and I thought, wow, if I wasn't...
Are you saying your car has a manual transmission?
It does. Are you impressed?
Wow.
Yeah?
The fact that she let it roll backwards on a hill is what impresses me.
It wasn't a significant amount. I'm just saying, if
So,
someone
Karl,
has
who's
not
at fault?
experienced
Who's at fault there?
what happens.
Well, I would say if you let your car roll into somebody, you're at fault.
Okay.
Even if it's backwards.
That's okay. But even if they're so close to you that you can't have a little give there?
You're not supposed to go backwards on the road.
Exactly.
Okay.
Driving lessons from Karl Truman, personal injury lawyer, right here on Louisville
I didn't
Live.
hit the car behind me.
Well, that's a good thing.
I just was curious.
So dial 276-2118 if you have real questions for Karl Truman.
That was a real question.
That was not a real question. She let her car roll backwards down the road.
Not
down
a
the hill.
lot.
Okay,
Listen.
here's a real question. Karl, since I'm the only one in my group of friends who has a pool, I have a lot of
mailbag.
parties in the warmer months. With the official start of summer, what are some things I can do to protect myself and any guests I may have over? This is a big question. Dana in Jeffersonville.
Especially if alcohol's involved. We've talked about
Absolutely.
this several times with holiday parties, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Sure. Well, of course, the overall thing, the overriding thing in any situation is what's called reasonable care.
Yes.
You are obligated to use reasonable care. And then with a social guest, you know, you have to use reasonable care to look out for their safety. I mean, certainly if there's alcohol involved, I mean, you should refrain from drinking or have a professional bartender, someone who's trained to look for people who are, you know, maybe having too much.
Very good.
And, you know, just use common sense and reasonable care to look out for safety of your guests.
Fantastic. So that's the most important thing. Taking their keys away is not always a bad idea either, right?
Certainly. I
So
mean,
people
yeah,
can't drive.
if there's going to be alcohol involved, to be able to have alternative transportation, whether it is, you know, a taxi service or
City Scoot.
City Scoot is another service, or, you know, designated drivers, you know, someone looking out for others.
Something like that.
Tim in Louisville is on the phone. Tim, you have a question for Karl?
Kim.
Sorry.
Kim in Louisville.
Yes, I do. I have a question about when you're driving down the road and with the bike lanes that they put in, and if you're sitting at a light and the bicyclists come by you. Now, if they manage to hit your car while they're passing through the light or wherever,
Basically,
who's at fault?
Yeah, she's talking about the bike lanes.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Kim, Kim, ask your question once more. You're talking about biking and bike lanes?
Yes.
Okay, once more.
Yes.
If they hit your car,
the bike does.
yes, how do they handle that?
Okay, so if the bicyclist hits the car, who's at fault? Especially if they're in the lanes, you know, this biking thing.
That are
Everyone's
created for the bikes. Yeah, specifically.
Well, of course, bicycles have to follow the same rules of the road as cars do. So, I mean, if a bicyclist turns in front of you, then they're going to be responsible for what happens.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And using a lot of care and being considerate and sharing the road is a big part of biking, as we've heard so many times. So bikes and cars need to be aware of each other.
And I know some people that have been scared that have gone on the sidewalk, but that's still not what you're supposed to do as a bicyclist.
Adults are not supposed to ride on the sidewalks. Okay, another question about summer. Boating is a big deal right now. Very quickly, what are a couple of the key things now that you've got your certification that we can remember for boating safety?
Well, of course, the key things, just like driving a car. I mean, remember, even with boats, there are rules of the road,
Yes.
just like there are with cars.
Very true.
And, you know, I've been a big advocate of taking a boating safety class.
Absolutely.
You know, I really don't think it's a good idea for people to just get the keys of a speedboat and
No.
just say, you know, go have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there are rules of the road, there's safety precautions. So I really encourage people to either to take a boating safety class from either the Coast Guard Auxiliary or the U.S. Power Squadron.
Yep.
To be educated on, you know, boating safety procedures.
Absolutely.
And being out on the river. I mean, one time we were on the river in our sailboat, and a 30-foot cruiser crossed our bow, and you could see the guy, you know, at the wheel texting on his phone.
Oh, great. Texting while boating.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Good
gosh.
Lord. Hey, we've got so many more questions we'll have to hold for next week. Karl Truman is going to leave us now, but you can reach him at his new telephone number, 222-2222. I like that
it.
a lot, Karl.
Super easy.
Count on the Colonel. Karl Truman. You can check trumanlaw.com as well for more information.